An estimated 1 in 6 people in Britain live in social housing. Britain's housing officers are at the sharp end.
Hello? There is not enough social housing. There's not enough to meet the demand.
They deal with around 10 million people day in, day out.
Please. This is the good part.
Most are good tenants, but some risk everything with their antisocial behaviour.
Right, well, you not Jimmy.
We have a problem.
This week, on one estate, the enforcement team step in when things get out of control.
I've had enough of it. I can't stand it no more.
Clearly show quite harsh disregard to everything we've said and every rule in the tenancy agreement.
And one elderly couple's lives are changed forever.
We've got to go for Elsie's sake.
It's going to be very quick.
Now I could cry.
In Ashton-under-Lyne, east of Manchester, local housing officers spend much of their time dealing with the minority of tenants who cause problems for everyone else. On one local estate, there's been a sudden rise in incidents of antisocial behaviour.
I'm a wrong un, but everyone loves me, so it don't matter, does it?
20-year-old single mum Michelle lives in the end house of a new development with her 2 young children, and her door is always open to friends and family.
Everyone's entitled to have a good bloody piss up, you know, when they've got no kids with them for the night. Bloody hell.
As a tenant, Michelle is responsible for everyone who visits her house, including her mum, Regina.
I spoke from here.
It was my next door neighbours that was winding me up, and there was lesbians. And she kept annoying me, so I ran out one night with a knife at her. And then I got done for it. I got an ASBO order for 12 months.
I've been done for assault 3 times and drunken disorderly and arrest.
But the complaints are not just about Michelle. 3 doors down, 27-year-old single mum Laura lives with her 3 children.
Oh, do you want me to carry her? They said.
Complaints about Laura also centre on excessive partying and rowdy behaviour, as well as lads congregating on her trampoline in the front garden.
I've never been in trouble with. Mummy!
I know.
No, never.
If things don't improve, both Michelle and Laura could lose their brand new housing association homes.
ASBO!
ASBO, come here now!
Pam Hollingsworth is part of the Housing Association's enforcement team.
We're not in the business of taking people's homes off them. We're in the business of providing homes for people. It's only for cases where there really are no other options that we have to take things from warnings to cautions to injunctions and ultimately to recovering possession of somebody's property.
This morning, Pam has been called in by colleague Jonathan to investigate the antisocial behaviour linked to Michelle and her neighbour Laura.
Well, we need to get this sorted as soon as possible, really.
I'll report it. Hi, Julie. It's Jonathan from Neighbourhood.
Are you dealing with this lot here?
Yes, we are.
We are, madam, yes. I've rang up this morning because I've had enough of it. I can't stand it no more. It's absolutely bedlam.
2 and 3 o'clock in the morning
I mean,
and 4 o'clock.
You don't mind people having children playing on the front. You don't mind that. But when they're fighting here at 4 o'clock in the morning, a mother comes up absolutely blind drunk in a disabled chair, blind drunk with children in the middle. The kids are running round, the kids are standing on the front, effing and jeffing it. Toddlers like that. Why do we have to put up with it? I'm at my wit's end with it, me, because I'm disabled with arthritis, and if I don't get my rest, I'm terrible, am I?
Yeah. It's that end house there, and it's that one there, where all the toys are, where the trampoline is. Them are the 2.
Right.
It's disgusting. I mean, we shouldn't have to put up with that.
No, not
And I mean,
at all.
they're nice houses, and I feel sorry for the people that are working that have to get up early in the morning.
The housing team are visiting Michelle to put the latest complaints to her and issue her with an acceptable behaviour contract. If she wants to keep her home, she'll have to take them seriously.
Complaints we've had, generally, it's with regards to noise coming from the property, music, people congregating in your garden, you swearing at your children,
Swearing at my children?
Yeah, police attending the property after you were fighting and arguing, drinking in the front garden until about 1:30 AM, using foghorns and jumping on a trampoline.
But can I just say about the fighting? God knows where the fighting's come from. Number two, yeah, I have had people in my garden, but I'm entitled to have my family round. Do you know what I mean? As for the drinking, I can't drink because I've got kidney problems.
The thing about today is this is your opportunity to give us your representations. You know, the evidence is building up to take action on your tenancy. But what we're going to do with you today is give you an acceptable behaviour contract. You will not engage in conduct causing or likely to cause a nuisance, play music at an unacceptable level, fight, swear or raise your voice to the annoyance of other residents, or do anything to cause harassment, alarm or distress to your neighbours. If you break the conditions that we've just said, or somebody else breaches it at your property, then we may start looking at legal proceedings. Do you understand the meaning of this contract?
I do, yes.
OK, and the consequences you understand? Yeah? OK. If I can ask you to sign here. And it's the 4th of May today.
I'm a bit gutted because I've not really listened to a full side of my story. Do you know what I mean? You know, I do have my family round and we do sit in the garden. Right, Kieran, stop it, please.
I go play my cheese toys. Ow! With a freaking top.
Aye. Asbel. That's his nickname, Asbel. And that's Asbel number 2.
Michelle applied for social housing after her last relationship broke down.
Shout bye-bye, Daddy.
She was staying with her 2 kids in her mum's 1-bedroom flat. This qualified her for maximum overcrowding points and made her a housing priority. Michelle became friends with Laura when they both moved onto the estate 3 months ago. One reported incident in Laura's front garden involved youths bouncing up and down on a trampoline with a foghorn until 5 AM. Today, Pam is back with fellow enforcement officer Martin to issue 27-year-old Laura with an acceptable behaviour contract.
In terms of the trampoline, I think it's a good idea that you get it moved from the front. You've got a back garden, haven't you?
I'm not moving it from the front because I like it in the front, because I'm in the living room and I see my children there.
We've had problems and nuisance around the trampoline.
Well,
so
I'll just keep them off, and if it happens again, then I will do.
If it's in the back...
They can get in the back though, because they can because
they
they've pinched my tent out of the back garden, so it's just the same.
There are at least 20 people now in this area that have told us about the problems. This is your opportunity to put an end to the matter now and draw a line underneath it.
I don't think I've caused no problems at all, so I don't really think I should have to sign that.
And on balance of evidence that we've got, I'm telling you different.
What happens if I don't sign it?
Well, if you don't sign it, then that'll go on your record that you haven't signed. Anything else that happens, it goes to the next stage, and we're talking court then. And ultimately, you're heading towards losing your home. So it's up to you now. I mean, that's what we said the other day, isn't it, to you? It's down to yourselves. They, from what they've said, seem to think their behaviour's all right. Most people would disagree with that and won't put up with it. And from our point of view at New Charter, we won't put up with it either.
Social housing nowadays is quite scarce commodity. There's not enough out there. I mean, we have waiting lists of thousands of people that are waiting to come into our tenancies, and what always amazes me, from my perspective, is that why and how somebody can behave in a way that potentially they'll lose their house and their home when there's so few out there, realistically.
Over 30% of people living in properties at one housing association east of Manchester are over 60. And with an increasingly ageing population, the numbers are set to rise. This morning, lettings manager Shauna Hildersley is meeting one elderly couple who are desperate to move.
A couple live in a 3-bedroom house at the moment. They're looking to downsize. Last winter was a particularly bad winter and they were quite isolated up in Millbrook. They've approached us to assess their suitability for sheltered housing, and that's about as much as I know at the moment.
Elsie and Bill have lived in their housing association home on the edge of the Peak District since 1963.
It is lovely, there's no doubt about it. Robert next door, he used to stand at his window and he used to say, you know, Elsie, people who like live in London, everywhere where it's overcrowded, they'd give a week's rent just to have that view alone. Never mind the house, just the view. He always said that, Robert. But you see, I can't walk so far now, so it's spoiled everything for me, you know.
The decision to move has been difficult, but the family home is now more like a prison for Elsie. Her deteriorating health makes going upstairs extremely hard, and so she's forced to sleep in the sitting room.
If I were well, I don't think I'd have moved. If I could have jumped on a bus to Stalybridge or Ashton, but we've been nowhere. I've been nowhere.
Elsie's had a series of operations to replace her hips and knees. She's already a diabetic, and she now has suspected kidney failure too.
We need a flat. We need a smaller place, and for the years we've got left, we want to be happy, you know.
Yeah, or else, waiting on and all.
Elsie's husband, Bill, retired from his factory job 14 years ago, and now Elsie's health is forcing the couple to leave the family home where they raised their 4 children.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's anybody lived on this estate as long as we have.
We've been together 56 years in October.
And this was the first council house we've ever had. The very first day, I'll always remember it, the coalman, I told him we were moving. He said, I'll move you. Oh, I said, that is kind of you, you know. A brand new coal wagon. We moved up here and you know, and I never ever thought I'd leave.
It's mint imperial to me, you know. I could stop here, but I'll have to. Well, we've got to go for Elsie's sake, because she can't climb any stairs and that. But I mean, I'm getting older myself. I'm 80 at Christmas, so I'll probably want no stairs myself shortly.
The couple have been waiting for a suitable place to come up for the last 3 years.
Hello. Hiya. Can you tell me a little bit about why you want to move?
Health reasons.
I can get upstairs, but it's such a struggle that I can cry every time I get to talk, and I just need...
Some out flat.
You all right if I have a quick look round your house?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. It's lovely, isn't it?
This is the jump room.
Right. OK, I think we've all got one of those glory holes, haven't we? It's very big, isn't it?
That's smashing.
I think I've been on the list 3 years now, so I think, you know, I have waited a good while, you know.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. It's not how long you've waited any longer. That doesn't give you any more priority. The priority is given according to your current housing needs and your current circumstances. And as they've worsened over the last few months, obviously your condition's got more serious. We've reassessed your medical and you've got priority medical points now. But obviously you've got medical needs. Your current property's unsuitable. So obviously you've got a great deal of priority there, but I can't promise you anything. OK, so if you're all right with that, I'm done now. So I'll be getting in touch with you.
Yes.
OK, I love you.
All right. It's very obvious they're not managing in the property, although they're keeping on top of the property. I'm hopeful that they will be successful because there's a huge shortage of family accommodation. It'd be very nice if we got this house back. I've only had a quick look round, but it doesn't appear to have any major improvements needed. They've kept it in very good order. So we would have a quick turnaround on this property, and we would have a very high demand for that type of house in this area.
Housing associations issue acceptable behaviour contracts, or ABCs, as a first step before they begin legal proceedings. On the Green, it's Friday night, and 4 days after Michelle and Laura were each given their ABCs.
We have our music on, we don't have it blasting, we'll have it on like now. Like now it's not loud. And this is the only time we have music on when it's like this. We don't have it blasting or anything like that. Yeah, we've had it blasting once, that was it, when we had the housewarming party.
The kids are with babysitters, and everyone is at Michelle's getting ready for a big night, including her neighbour, Laura.
Yeah.
Friday nights, just like this. Getting wankered, shitload of beer.
Regina, Michelle's mum, is also there.
Sorry, Kev.
You're wearing a tutu, aren't you?
Me? You see me in a fucking tutu? Don't think so.
Not that
As the night goes on, Regina pops out to pick up some more guests.
Right, what are you not doing? Get away.
I'm just going to drink a little bit more than I'm going out.
As the tenant, Michelle is responsible for everyone's behaviour in her house, even her mum.
Yeah, stood down there, right? That empty pub, yeah? Like the taking a shit.
I told everyone I should up, like your chat said to me, so keep it under control. I've told him that's all I can do, and it's tell him if to start getting more rowdy, then they get out my house, simple as.
You're beautiful to me. I saw your face in a crowded place.
Oh, no, you fucking did.
But neighbour Laura doesn't seem to be listening.
Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. You have been one. You have been one for me.
I say, you better stop doing that now.
What?
She's like a spaz. Give me a text number.
What? Because I'm singing?
Yeah, but we're loud.
Yeah, that's what Lulu does, so she goes...
Yeah, but you don't Lulu though, are you?
1, 2, 3. She goes... Well...
Right, what you got to do? Come back to mine later on.
Yeah.
See ya.
At around 10, the party breaks up as the girls head into town.
3 cats together. Jump tight. Hey.
Nancy and John are two of the many local residents who've been disturbed by Michelle and Laura.
We've never had nothing like this. Never. In all the 40 years nearly we've been in this house. Just put some more water in this teapot, John, will you please? I mean, to call them what they call them, it's unbelievable what they call them. There's no need for that. They've no respect for their elders, have they? It's happening all over, isn't it? It's not
where
just
they come
them.
from. They're brought up that way. They see their parents doing it and they do it.
Yeah.
You can bet her parents were just like she were. When she's been brought up that way, so she brings her children up that way.
More and more residents are coming forward with stories of antisocial behaviour from Michelle and Laura's.
Can get a bit frightening. You don't want to sit in your garden when they're all shouting and yelling on the other side of the fence. It's not pleasant because you don't know whether something's going to come over or whatever.
Asphalt! Asphalt, come here now!
We've tried being friendly with the neighbours and that, but they just don't want none of it, do they?
Come on, Asphalt! On now, Kieran.
With no sign of things quietening down, the Housing Association are keen to see the extent of the problems for themselves. This evening, Martin and Pam are heading back to the Green.
The aim of the visit tonight is to get a flavour of what it's like in the evenings when they think New Charter are shut. and we're not around. Clearly, we are around and we're not shut. We want to have a nose and see what's going on.
They have permission to do covert surveillance on Michelle and Laura in order to gather concrete evidence.
I need to just get out. I might just go and sit in my car.
They spot some impromptu activity in Michelle's front garden, but she's nowhere to be seen.
Can't quite work out if it's 4 or 5 adults there now. It's not acceptable. It's quite intimidating to people walking past. It's not the sort of behaviour that most people do in the community. Whatever happens at Michelle's tenancy now, while we're sat here, and while she's out of the property, she has no control of it, she has no knowledge of what's happening there.
People are still gathered when Michelle returns home later.
So far, she's not ushering people out of the garden, telling them to leave.
The acceptable behaviour contract seems to be having no effect. After Pam and Martin left the Green, the party continued.
So far, we've had 15 residents come forward and complain. After we left on site, there was another argument there between Laura and Michelle and her visitors. Laura was obviously drunk and she's screaming and shouting she wants to lose her house because of all this and swearing at people and basically putting the blame on everyone else, but then still swearing and shouting in the area, in the street, which then makes it even worse. And then there's just one big argument between everyone, and then the police were called then, so they attended and calmed the situation down. We made it very, very clear what was expected of each and every tenant and their visitors. And almost from the moment we've issued them with ABC, they've not abided by it, they've broken it straight away. Clearly show quite harsh disregard to everything we've said and every rule in the tenancy agreement, and they just simply don't care, so I have to now take it to the next step, which is possibly an injunction now on both of them. And that's obviously then serious implications on the tenancy as well, so things are progressing quite quickly now.
If they do issue an injunction, it's a legally binding court order, which Michelle and Laura would have to obey. If they don't, they could ultimately go to prison.
Oh, look! Let me go and wash it.
Antisocial behaviour is one issue. Another very different problem that housing officers deal with is the growing elderly population.
The problems we face with an increase in ageing population is that then impacts on the demand on the waiting list. We have a huge demand for our properties. We've got in the region of 8,000 people on the waiting list. However, it's sometimes very difficult to find suitable alternative accommodation that elderly people want to move into. So for us, that can be a bit of a juggling act.
7 and 9, 79.
In Staley Bridge, some sheltered housing is hugely oversubscribed.
All the ones, double legs, 11.
On this particular scheme, only 1 or 2 flats become available every year.
Well, this is the main building over here, and this contains 15 flats. Predominantly they are bed sits. There's a 1-bedroom flat and a 2-bedroom flat in that main block. And on the outside of the scheme here, we've got 4 1-bedroom flats and 2 bungalows. It is very, very difficult to get into, and it's high demand because of the proximity to the town centre.
But one flat has become vacant. It's a highly sought-after 1-bedroom ground floor property, and it would be perfect for Bill and Elsie. But it will ultimately go to the applicants with the most points.
If we don't get it, I suppose we sat away, won't we? I mean, there's nothing else we can do about it. I can't go down there and cursing it makes no difference, does it?
You've got your fingers crossed.
And my legs.
We operate a points-based allocation system, and what that means is the more points that are awarded to your application, the much better chance you're going to have of receiving a property. Bill and Elsie currently, they're living in a house and they're not using all the bedrooms, so we've given them points for looking to downsize their property. They've also got medical points because Elsie can no longer get up and down the stairs. They've got tenure points because they're tenants of ours, and they have local connection points. So in total, they've got 425 points, which is a reasonable amount of points. However, over the years, what's happening with Bill and Elsie is other people have had more points because they were living in more severe circumstances, and people were awarded properties before Bill and Elsie. It's a bit like a game of chance, really, because you could have a lot of points and you could be bidding on properties, but you never know from one week to the next who else is bidding and how many points they've got. So you're never really sure or very sure of how high up the bidding system you are until the property closes.
On the green, Michelle and her neighbour Laura are still at risk of losing their new 3-bed homes.
Come on, let me do it.
No, not with... Oh!
With no sign of an end to their bad behaviour, the Housing Association have decided to apply to the court for an injunction against both Laura and Michelle. Today, Martin is installing hidden cameras to monitor any antisocial activity at either Michelle or Laura's homes.
I'd have to quite brutally duct tape him around to the window frame.
Martin is an expert in fitting CCTV cameras in difficult places.
I'm just going to secure it to the top of the teddy on his head, directly out through the gap in the window, which then should overlook the rear of the properties and capture anything that goes on there.
The CCTV should capture any antisocial behaviour from now on. The next day, and Martin is back. The court have now agreed to issue injunctions for both Michelle and Laura, making any bad behaviour an arrestable offence.
Hiya, Laura. Listen, we spoke to Michelle. Right. Well, basically went to court yesterday. I've secured an injunction against you.
The injunctions strictly forbid Laura and Michelle from making excessive noise, being abusive and having more than 3 visitors at a time.
Michelle, my brother and mother alongside 3 of us, 1 male and 2 female in front of the garden, drinking, fighting with each other. That's tie fighting. So you've twisted it, instead of putting messing or tie fighting, you put fighting, and it makes it sound like some big fights broke out, do you know what I mean? And this is all, we've had fun, me and my friends say, running after my brother with a bottle. That's called tie fighting. They're not getting the difference between tie fighting, having fun, and they're turning it into something serious, which I don't like.
So where's his coat?
It's alright. Love you, mate. Have a good day. Love you, Mummy. I feel like just locking myself away now, because what's the point? I just don't know what to do.
As a social housing tenant, you're responsible for maintaining the terms and conditions of your tenancy agreement. And there's a key difference there between your social sector and your owner-occupier. An owner-occupier has responsibilities, but enforcement of those responsibilities is unlikely. As a social housing tenant, the enforcement lies with the landlord. It's a responsibility of the landlord to deal with issues, and you, as the tenant, because of your responsibilities for other people who visit you and live with you, you ultimately carry the can and bear the responsibility in the event that things happen at your property that aren't caused by you, but are caused by those who visit you or those who live with you.
The bidding is closing for the prize flat in the sheltered housing scheme, and Bill and Elsie are waiting for news.
We'll have to just wait and see.
Yep.
But we'll be a bit sick if we don't do.
The couple need to move soon, before Elsie's health gets any worse.
All right, sickly feeling, nothing's going to turn out for us.
Each week, Shauna oversees the thousands of bids for the properties that come up for rent. This morning, she's reviewing the results of the flat in the sheltered scheme.
Hello.
Hi, it's Shauna from New Charter Housing. How are you?
Yes, love. Not too bad, love, thank you.
We've matched the property and you're very, very lucky because you're successful.
Oh, thank you, love.
You okay?
Yeah. And thank you very much, love. It's lovely.
All right.
It really is.
That's fine, that's not a problem.
Thank you.
I'd just like to let you know that you were successful as soon
Well,
as we
I
could.
do. Thank you, love. I really, really do.
All right, well, I'll speak to you later on then.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, love.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thought you were going to sound wrong.
It's nice when you can actually give people something that they want, that they've waited a long time for. So, yeah, this is the good part.
Happy with Larry now?
Oh, I am, Bill. I am.
It's going to be very quick. Everything will gather pace very quickly now because the property's almost ready. We'll take them to view it, and they've got to now arrange to start packing the house up and move in as quickly as possible.
The bidding system doesn't allow people to view before they bid for a property.
Oh, this is it, isn't it?
Because of the rules, this will be the first time Bill and Elsie will see inside the flat they bid for.
All right there?
Yes, thanks.
What do you think?
Lovely
Oh,
place.
it's beautiful.
Absolutely.
It is.
Yeah, top of the range, just cracked it.
Fitted wardrobes in here, they're lovely. You've got plenty of room for your clothes.
Haven't we just...
Here's your little pampering mirror here.
Yeah, right, smashing, isn't it?
I'll be looking in that every morning, you know, I won't believe me luck, you know.
Yeah. This is your formal offer letter here, formally offering you the tenancy.
Yeah.
Okay. There's your keys.
It is lovely.
Although they're happy, it's not going to be easy packing up their life for 50 years and fitting everything into a one-bedroom flat. This morning, Martin's been called back to the Green. He's had a tip-off that Laura may have broken her injunction.
I received a phone call yesterday. It just said that Laura, at number 2, have been letting gangs of lads in at the rear of the property at the side gate. Straight out number 2, perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a clear breach there, because either way they visited her property, and I can prove they've come from her property, so I don't know at what point there they think they're going to pull the wool over our eyes. It just...
Although this is a breach of Laura's injunction, the housing association decide to give her another chance, and instead of calling the police, they issue a severe written warning. But in housing, things are rarely simple. In the office, Pam has been working on a separate investigation, and she's discovered that Laura did not disclose that she'd been in trouble with the association before. On top of that, she applied for her current house under a different name. Today, Pam's discussing the situation with Paul, the association's lawyer.
It's, 6 years since dealing with her last time, but it's the same names, it's the same faces coming up again.
It'd be nice if people would learn, wouldn't it?
You would kind of hope that eventually they would get the idea, but clearly that's not happening. As far as the information contained within an application is concerned, that in and of itself is a ground for possession. And there's not a lot of issues for the court to consider in this case. Is your application fraudulent? Yes. Has that induced the landlord to grant you a tenancy? Yes. Is there anything that can be done to correct it? Probably not. Had you given the information in the first place, we have evidence that says we wouldn't have given you that tenancy. There's not a lot then left for the court to really have to consider. So it should be quite a quick process. If you lie on your application and by lying you cause the landlord to give you a property, then the landlord has a standalone ground just in relation to that to seek possession of the property. So it is a serious matter.
But the housing association won't be able to repossess Laura's property until a judge has ruled on her case. Having successfully bid and won a sheltered flat, Bill and Elsie must begin the process of packing up their home.
Do you take furniture, love?
Depends what it is and condition.
Brand new dining room chairs. They've never been used.
Family are helping out, but much of the sorting is down to the couple.
You see, they're brand new. We've never had paper off, you know. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
There's a skip coming later on today. I don't know whether to put them in or not, but it's such a shame, you know.
Many of the possessions they have collected over their 47 years won't fit in their new flat, and anything family don't want is going in the skip.
I smashed all them wardrobes. There's nothing wrong with them. And there's a dressing table, a Holt one, from about 1920s. Nobody wants them.
Elsie and Bill have only moved house once before, and that was almost 50 years ago.
I was a lot younger when I came in here, you know. I was only in my early 30s, so I was a lot younger. It didn't bother me, you know. It didn't bother me.
On the green, Michelle's behaviour has been slightly better. But it's a different matter for Laura. Repossession proceedings are underway, and there have also been reports of more trouble at her house. Martin is meeting the police to review the CCTV footage.
It's something that Laura's been kind of flaunting for a little while now, the injunction, and getting away with it to an extent. Which is clearly, I suppose, again, I think it's getting closer and closer to the possession. Perhaps it's a case of, I don't care what happens, and I'll just do what I want, and you can't tell me what to do. How are you doing here? Good.
Just want to see the CCTV?
Yep.
Oh, young'uns, aren't they?
What I was told was we had two lads walking up carrying a crate of beer. Laura was inside the property. Then two more lads appeared shortly after. And then the witness waited till midnight, till they all came out, just to make sure how many people were actually there before she phoned the police. Yeah, drinking there. Messing about, pushing the other person to the floor.
What time's that? 5 past
That's
midnight?
5 past midnight, yeah.
What day? Yesterday? Or this morning?
This morning, 5 past midnight this morning.
With this new breach of her injunction and the numerous complaints, Laura will now be arrested.
No sign of life in there.
These things are out of my control, unfortunately. Like I said, I've got the alternative address anyway.
As Laura's not at home, Martin and the police head over to another address where they think she might be staying.
Hi, Laura.
Laura is arrested and taken away for questioning. At Bill and Elsie's, the last furniture is being moved out, and the stress of the move is beginning to show.
I don't know what I've threw and what I haven't. Perhaps I've threw wrong things, you know. But they've gone anyway now.
It's time to leave the family home.
Can't grumble at that, can you?
So do you think you'll miss this view?
Oh, I can shut my eyes and think about it, can't I? You know. You've got to do it, haven't you? I'll have to do anything for Elsie, won't I?
We've had some good times, and we've been happy here. But that's it. I'll be sorry to leave, But like I say, we had to do. Now I could cry. Because we've been here a good while and I don't want to go. Ooh.
3 weeks later, Bill and Elsie are getting used to their new home and living on one level.
Oh, it's been great, absolutely great, you know. Just walk from one room to another.
I didn't shower at all.
The move has had an added bonus for Bill.
And she got up one night and made a drink, didn't you, love?
Aye.
Well, she said, well, I could a cup of tea. I don't know what time it was, late on the end of it. I said, go on, this.
3 and 8, 38. All the ones, those legs, 11.
We've got there in the end.
Yeah, we did, and it was well worth it.
It was smashing, absolutely smashing.
It's and the people are lovely.
On the green, there's been some changes.
Oh, impressions so far are good.
Following the court case, Laura's house was repossessed, but the judge decided not to give her a custodial sentence for the breach of her injunction, as she was already losing her home.
It's in pretty good order, really.
I mean, this is the sort of house that I would really, really love to live in. I'd really like to live in a home like this. It's just sad when people don't appreciate it, I think. They just don't care, they just take it for granted.
At Michelle's, there's been some changes too. For now, at least.
Right, pick your shoes up, please, and take them into the bathroom neatly on the floor with your other shoes. And your coat. I've enjoyed calming down, because it's not like you don't miss the hangovers. And getting into trouble as well. Even a few police officers that I've seen over the past few weeks have said to me, God, we've not had no reports at your property recently. So that makes me feel happy just knowing that, you know, they've got nothing to pin on me like they used to. Mummy doing din-dins.
That's what it's called.
Spaghetti bolognese. Got responsibilities. Got to follow my responsibilities. Or if I do something wrong, then these are just going to end up hating me when they're older. And I don't want that. I don't want them to have a life like I did. It's just, I chose to have them. The way I look at it, it's your responsibility, so you've got to stick to it and you've got to face the consequences of being a parent.
And Neighbourhood Watched is back next week at the same time. A starkly real and honest look at life as an inmate in Scotland's only women's prison, Girls Behind Bars, is next.